Alright, so today we're going to go ahead and do our extra credit assignment. So this is just one of those activities that we're just going to be playing a little bit more with the material to kind of create the idea of mountains. So I suggest you get a couple pieces of paper so you can kind of like take them and just kind of color with them. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with a couple of cool colors and just kind of figure out which ones I want to work with. So I decided for a couple of purples and blues. It depends if you, whatever you have at home. If you have crayons, then you can work with crayons. If you have color pencils, then you can use color pencils. If you had paint, then that's a lot more fun because you get to add different colors and play around with that. So what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and kind of just start tearing paper. So you're going to tear the paper from one end to the other, and don't worry, it's going to come into play later. So just kind of keep tearing paper over and over so that you're just kind of thinking of the next step. So I'm kind of just tearing these just to kind of create like, you know. So, okay, so we tore our papers in different ways. So you have 3 pieces so far. So the next step is you're going to go ahead and take another sheet of paper and you're going to go ahead and color them in. If you have markers, then this would be easier, but I'm doing it with just color pencils. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go in and start coloring in my first mountain, because these are going to be mountains. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of add texture to it later. But for now, just kind of color it in the best you can. The cool thing is if you have it over a paper, then you can just kind of go in and just color it in. And so, let me go ahead and finish this one. So this one's going to be more of a purple mountain. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of finish coloring it. It can be a very fast color. Remember to do it over a sheet of paper so you don't mark your table or whatever surface you're working on. Okay, so this is the first mountain. The next step is you might want to add a couple more details to kind of make it look like a mountain. So I like to add ridges just to kind of make it look like, you know, it's going somewhere. Mountains have ridges. You can add like a little bit of shading to just kind of give it a little bit more depth or whatever, or you know, it's up to you how you want to go about it. Mountains are very interesting and they're fun to just kind of work with, so I mean, it's up to you how you want to go about it, but you know, you can give it some texture here and there just to kind of play around with it. So I'm just gonna do that part real quick, and or you can go in and make one side darker. It's whatever you feel looks best. So that's just a quick one. The next one is going to be this one. You're going to go ahead and go in with a different color. And here I'm just kind of going in and coloring it in. And remember, you can color it however you want. It doesn't have to be super neat. It can be different textures are fun because you get to just kind of see all the different kinds of textures. If you are working with them, then I suggest you just kind of play around with it. So here I am just going in and adding texture, kind of coloring it in. Here kind of went a little bit softer. Okay, so we have our next mountain, and if you want to add detail to it, then you can. And just kind of maybe make this like one of those peak mountains. Just kind of gonna go ahead and add a little bit of shading there. And add like a ridge or two. Make it simple. Okay, so that's one. And remember, they can go any other way that you want. They're all gonna be different. Not everybody's are gonna be the same, so don't freak out if yours looks very different compared to others or mine. This is more of an example of how you can go about creating mountains without, you know, without actually drawing them. It's just a different technique of working. It's kind of like collage, but not really. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this really nice blue on my next mountain. It's like a bluish purple. So as you can see, I've been using nothing but cool colors. You can do the same if you like. It's up to you. Try to be very careful when you're coloring your paper, because then you have to, you accidentally tear it. So I suggest when you're coloring it, color towards one direction and then just come back. So like just go that way, pick up your pencil, and then go that way, so that, you know, you don't tear your drawing or your paper. And if you're done with one side, just kind of flip it over and continue. Try to cover the spaces you're not able to. Okay. Okay, so we finished this one, and we're gonna go ahead and just kind of add a little bit more details to kind of give it that mountain feel. You know, mountains. That's all I've been thinking about. It's hiking. Okay, so that one's done. And then we have our final mountain. And I think I'm gonna go with let's see, dark purple. Okay, well I think I'm gonna go ahead and use this, maybe a light blue, just to kind of contrast, make it pop. So here's the light blue, coloring towards one direction. Remember, be very careful, you're coloring outward, so you're gonna go one and then pick up your pencil and just kind of keep going so that you do not tear your paper. And then do the same thing on the other side. Color one on, flip it over, do the same thing. And then so as soon as you're done coloring all your pieces, the next step is you get to add your detail like we did before. Give it that mountain look if you want to. And then after that, you can just kind of go in and color in any spaces that you feel like need filling or anything. Add some details. You know, you want to make it look like, you know, something. Okay, so as soon as all your pieces are done, the next step is going to be, you're going to start working on your background. So you can use the same paper you would work coloring on if it's not too messed up. And you're going to start thinking about maybe this part. So this is going to be an interesting. So I think I'm going to go ahead and figure out how I want my pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and put the purple one at the bottom, as you can see, and then you're going to go ahead and just kind of layer them in front of one another to kind of create a really interesting texture. And you're working with different mountains, so they're just kind of overlapping one another. And so you have your mountain range. So now you got to think about your pretty much your sky. So I'm just gonna do maybe a very well, I guess we can go in with a gray. Sky is gray. Keep it all neutral with cool colors. So I'm gonna go ahead, and you can use your pencil. If you want, you can move your stuff before you start doing this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of color this in. Just gray, very simple. Little mountain range with a gray sky. And just kind of color it in. You can add a moon if you want to go in with actual, like, you know, texture, you know, you can go ahead and do that. But remember, this is kind of like a speed run of this, so you can take your time on this. Mine is just me trying to show you how to do it. Okay, so we have our sky, and then your layers. So you can see they don't have to, you know, be perfect. And then you're gonna go ahead and keep overlaying them until, you know, you create your little mountain range. Of course, everybody can start like adding moons and clouds and, you know, anything you want, but that is your extra credit assignment where you create the illusion of mountains on your paper. So good. You could take a picture of it as is. Remember, you don't have to glue it down. So yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.